Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWing24, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday, the 25th of September, for another action-packed episode, and let's jump into it with the latest aircraft released for Microsoft Flight Simulator, with the release from developer Terraini Studios, with the release of their rendition of Van's Aircraft's RV8. So the RV8 is a two-seat cross-country is home built / kit build / factory built aircraft that is quite popular amongst the GA community and the sports light aircraft community in the US and indeed globally. Now, this release for this aircraft gives us a rendition of the aircraft that claims to be have accurate flight modeling, realistic tail dragger behavior, a fully IFR capable cockpit with multiple GPS options, either the default G430 or the option for a GTN 650 powered by PMS50, with a couple of different additional dynamic interactable static objects with dynamic fuel in the fuel tanks with visible level, which is, I believe, a first in this sim. A couple of things that we're used to seeing as well, which I'm not really going to go into, usual high resolution textures, yada yada yada. So this one, I don't know, I'm just looking at the screenshots of it, and I don't have it, but I'm looking at it and I'm basically going, something looks off. I don't know what it is, but something looks off. I can't really put it any more than that, but just looking at the cockpit textures, looking at the layout of the EFB, it just doesn't sit with other products that are out there for the sim. So, Anyway, that's up to you. If you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $20 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. Continuing on with Microsoft Flight Simulator releases this week, saw from developer Secret Studio release their rendition of Miri Airport in Malaysia, which is located on the island of Sarawak, on the island of Borneo. So it's a very busy both airline, sort of domestic, regional airport hub, as well as providing some GA services as well. Gives us custom terrain mesh, custom approaches, and full updated ILS options for the aircraft. For the aircraft who fly into the airport. And gives overall looks pretty good, like the high quality textures used throughout, mixture of both the parallax style buildings and actual interior modeling, with a good custom ground textures, ground poly used throughout. Though I have to admit that the blending of the photoreal, maybe I'm just getting spoiled by some developers, but the blending of the photoreal is a little bit hit and miss in different parts of this release. So, but this one at least adds additional airports to the Southeast Asia region, as previously released by Secret Studio. And if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $16 or your original equivalent, available now from flightsim.to. Moving out of Microsoft Flight Simulator and moving into the world of X-Plane briefly. So I'm not going to be covering the slew of aircraft that have been receiving X-Plane 12 compatibility updates. But what we did see this week was a new release from Boris Audio Works, with a release of a new custom sound set for the Cirrus SR22 that supports both X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12. This gives over 50 hours of high-fidelity recordings used without use for all the various sounds inside and outside the aircraft, and allows you to replace a number of different Cirruses with this custom sound set, including the default X-Plane 12 Cirrus, as well as other community-produced versions of the aircraft. Includes a full set of interior and exterior engine sounds, avionics, ventilation fans, doors, buttons, all switches, flaps, and a number of environmental sounds for both wind and cabin air vent whistles, sort of coming through the cabin air vents, as well as a variety of different sounds and different attenuations of said sounds on the ground versus in the air, and more. So if you're wanting to pick this one up and expand your audio experience for X-Plane 11 and 12, you can pick this one up for $15 or your regional equivalent, available now from xplane.org. Sticking with flight simulation of a different kind now, moving now over to a new title. Comes to us from developer Snow Creature with their latest release their first release into early access of Groundfall. Now, this is a interesting little title. This one, at top level, it instantly sort of looks like, okay, looks like the what could have been with Dead Stick, but not as pretty. But it actually is not. It is a bush flying sim, but it's also not. It's actually more of a survival title, which it brings a lot of your open world survival game mechanics, like being able to manage food, sleep, shelter, and materials, and your weapons and other tools and that kind of stuff as well, along with some flying. So I'm not 100% sure about it. The information about it is very minimal at the moment. It is an early access, and it looks like it's very early access at the moment. So it could be one to watch. I'm not sure, but maybe it might be one that you might want to keep an eye on if you're interested in that one. It does support limited multiplayer options at the moment, but is primarily a single player survivor with you against the environment. Probably for flight simulators, the one thing that does interest me is that they do have they do have hydroplaning effects that is common in sort of remote areas with bush flying, particularly with the tundra tires modelled on what I'm assuming is Savage Cup here. So they did model the hydroplaning, and it looks like they've modelled it reasonably well, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, that's the one thing that did pique my interest a little bit. But yeah, your mileage very much may vary with this one. But if you want to give this one a crack and give it a go, you can pick this one up for $11 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Moving on to a simulation title of a very different type now. We saw the release this week into full release of Session Skate Sim. I've got... I'll be honest, I'm the only skating sim game sim I ever played was one of the very, very early Tony Hawk's on a portable, on a handheld console. So I am not someone who can judge the veracity and how good it is, and I really don't have much to say about it, but it does require a controller, and it does claim to have custom and accurate physics, which could be challenging and could be interesting, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, it's got a slew of various customizations and things that it sort of talks about, but it talks about stuff, but at the same time it also doesn't. It's very sort of vague and overarching with its details. It's got three main maps. You've got two in New York City and one in Philadelphia, as well as some additional spots that are being opened up as time goes on, and a bunch of customization options, as I said before. Interestingly enough, though, that the majority of the recent reviews have been trending negative. So it seems like the overall sort of past reviews of it when it was in early access were quite positive and quite hopeful. But the latest ones, since it's gone full release, have not been that positive. But, I'm also fairly skeptical when it comes to reviews sometimes. So yeah, buyer beware. Have a look at that one. But if you are wanting to try out your skateboarding skills, I've got no idea what the terminology is the kids use these days. So, I don't know, I could throw a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reference here, but I won't. If you want to pick it up, you can pick it up for $35 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Moving back into simulation territory that's a little bit more familiar, we saw this week the release of the latest scenario pack for Train Simulator, with the release of the Strasbourg Karlsruhe scenario pack for Train Simulator. So this one gives you 10 new scenarios to be able to go across the 170-mile route through Strasbourg and Karlsruhe, which is a DLC that's obviously that you require to have installed if you want to be able to use these scenarios. It gives you a variety of different scenarios from high-speed ice type trains all the way through to yard maintenance and yard training, and with freight hauling throughout these routes. So it gives you a nice bit of variety coming through there. So if you guys want to pick this one up, you can add this one to your train sim collection for $10 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. $1 per scenario, not too bad. Continuing on with the simulation, another simulation you released this week of a simulation of a different kind. So this week, the release from Astragon Entertainment of the release of Construction Simulator, which is a reboot of a previous franchise of theirs, and they have definitely come out guns blazing, bulldozers rolling for this one. So this one takes a sort of a farm simmings type approach, but to construction. We're giving you two sort of large open world maps, one based in Germany, one based in the USA, and each with their own campaign or with a number of custom scenarios and custom jobs that you can actually complete. It includes over 70 vehicles, machines, and contraptions, all officially licensed from their manufacturers, including Caterpillar, Kenworth, Liebherr, MAN, Mack Trucks, Miller Kipper, Palfinger, and more. And allows you to sort of run your own construction company and do various different roles and take different orders, various different roles and orders to be able to build a number of buildings and different construction activities. So I got to see one of my members of my flight sim community actually having a go at this, and it looked quite interesting. And as I said, like, it very much had a farming sim feel to it. So yeah, it is kind of cool. They've already come out with some day one DLC. With some customization and sort of like visual sort of improvements, visual sort of add-ons and customizations that you can do. Otherwise, the core game is the same. But if you wanted to give this one a crack and see what your skills are like as a construction foreman and as a builder extraordinaire, you can pick this one up for $35 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, saw this week the release of the latest piece of DLC for Car Mechanic Simulator 2021, with the release of their Aston Martin DLC, which brings to life 4 classic Aston Martins from the Aston Martin 1963 Aston Martin DB5. Of course, for all James Bond fans, that would be an absolute vital one to be able to have, all the way through to the 2022 Aston Martin DBX. Includes 4 engines from the old school i6 4-litre Tadek Marek, all the way through to the V8 4-litre Mercedes AMG M177 twin turbocharged engines in both rear-wheel and all-wheel drive options. A number of different engine tuning parts are also included to enhance your car mechanic in simulation experience. And if you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $5 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round to the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.